At the dawn of the 2010s, a game would be released with a controversy that would spell doom for all humanity, where meaningless wars and outbursts would change the course of gaming history forever. Not because of its gameplay or story either, but a simple change in the character's design. His eyes. Yes, today we're going to look at the infamous backlash of Sonic 4, and not just because the game was a letdown. It's because Sega changed Sonic's eyes to green. According to gaming websites reporting on the incident, Sonic fans loudly expressed their anger and disgust by the changes Sega had made. Feeling so betrayed, gaming journalists would imply it was a nuclear holocaust of fire as to how immature and pathetic fans would act. So much so, Destructoid would need to write an article explaining why a green-eyed Sonic was okay. Clearly, Sonic fans are just these outrageous, out-of-line type of people, right? Or is the controversy just all bullshit? Yeah, a lot of people remember the green-eyed controversy of 2010. It was a meme and major negative focal point directed towards the Sonic fandom of the time. However, there's quite a bit of inconsistency as to what the controversy really was and where it started. Or even if it existed altogether, not just something to drum up buzz or generate clicks. So today we're going to take a closer look at the controversy and see if we can sift through some of this shit and find the truth to this whole thing. This is the green-eyed Sonic controversy and why the whole event itself may have just been bullshit. Right away, I want to say the green-eyed Sonic wasn't something that originated in Sonic 4. And after looking into the history of a green-eyed Sonic, personally speaking, and if I can be completely upfront, I think for the most part, the entire thing was just like a fabricated hoax in order to generate buzz and clicks, but I'll kind of get to that a little bit later on. Honestly, Sonic fans kind of get a bum rep, constantly portrayed as these weird or overly obsessive, etc., type of people, but when you start digging into a lot of these claims, sure, you're gonna find some exceptions, like in fucking anything else in life. But honestly, I think the Sonic fan hate gets way overgeneralized. Growing up, I liked Sonic enough, but was never super obsessed with the franchise. I was more of a Mega Man guy, but I still played the first 4 Sonic games in their original incarnation when they came out, and, you know, honestly, I liked them enough. But I don't care what the general consensus is on Sonic Adventure 2, because to this day, I still think that game's a fucking masterpiece, and Live and Learn still kicks ass. And really, Sonic Adventure is actually where the story truly begins, as this is when Sonic first had his redesign in order to give the character a new look for the Adventure series. And when you know it, he had green eyes back then too. And this happened about a decade before the supposed green-eyed controversy began. Well, that's just the Adventure series, right? That's separate from the other products and merch. Obviously, the connipshits would only start from the overzealous and non-understanding Sonic fans once the merch was completely affected in 2010, right? Well, that's also not true. In 2001, an ongoing and popular comic series based on Sonic in the UK was having its run. The book was called Sonic the Comic, and in order to keep a consistent brand, they decided to update all the characters who were appearing in the comic to that of their Sonic Adventure counterparts. Shout out to the YouTube channel Sonic the Comic Reviews. They have a whole bunch of different scans up from this particular comic run that I was able to read in preparation for this video, so I'll make sure to leave a link in the description so you can go check them out. Anyway, this redesign began during issue 175 and was part of the Coming of Chaos arc. In it, Sonic, Tails, Amy, and a few other members of the supporting cast in the comic all track a green monster. In this comic, that's their version of Chaos, who's attacking the city. Sonic attempts to destroy him, but ends up getting his eyes turned green in the process. That could have all been avoided had he just shut his fucking eyes. By the end of the comic, his eyes are glowing green, but at the end of the following issue, the glow is gone and the eye color is now officially permanent. And this would be a permanent change in the comic. Like I said earlier, the reason for the update to Sonic was to try and bring the comic's old design more in line with the new redesigned Sonic from the Adventure series. So instead of rebooting the comic or just changing the art styles on the fly, they worked it into an arc in order to have a semi-smooth transition to a healthy medium between the old and new Sonic designs. Apparently this was mandated by Sega in a lot of their different branches in order to kind of keep the look of Sonic somewhat coherent across all their merch. So you gotta admire the comic team for even attempting to try and pull this off coherently. I'm not gonna spoil the whole story, but they work in the idea of changing into a new self into the comic, so that by the end of the comics, Sonic had actually grown into his new version. Commenter, I'm gonna try to pronounce this correctly, Zame Mick, put it best when they said, I really liked the comics, and on how the characters grow and slowly become the quote-unquote modern versions. The green-eyed Sonic from this comic is important for 2 reasons. The first is that it sets a precedent for the redesign in other media, long before Sonic 4 had ever happened. Sure, there is also Super Sonic from the original games, but you can argue they only turn green when he goes supersonic. Which there is an argument that Sonic fans have over a lot of elements of Dragon Ball Z being copied, with its own merits and detracts, but I digress. The second reason, though, is that it shows how people were not hostile about the character change really at all. Okay, in fairness, this particular comic came out a year ago, and the comics themselves were published over 20 years ago. That's a far cry from the 2010 controversy era. So I guess the best way to look at all this would be to look at all the negative comments on the eyes from the 2010 controversy. So let's go ahead and skip to the booming days of the internet, where all the depraved and sick Sonic fans threw tantrums over the green-eyed quote-unquote redesign of Sonic 4. And I'd absolutely love to, but it doesn't fucking exist. I wish I was kidding either. I spent days scouring different places I could think of in an attempt to find these Sonic fans complaining about the eyes. Old forums, Reddit, YouTube comments, you name it. They never fucking materialized. And when it comes to the green eyes, all that will keep popping up are 2 old-ass Destructoid articles, which I'll talk about in a minute, and an old meme just having Sonic with his eye color swapped to different ones. And that's it. Now, it's possible that I missed an entire subreddit or a bunch of tweets, etc, 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 and if I have, definitely let me know. But I never really found the legions and legions of fanboy and fangirls complaining to the high heavens about fucking Sonic's eyes. Instead, I found a shitty Destructoid article talking about the problem, another one talking about its comic origin, and a bunch of comments on other websites and forums of people talking crap about people who supposedly were freaking the fuck out over the color of Sonic's eyes. The one-offs I'd find here and there discussing Sonic eyes were usually just discussing fan theories, hardly the outrage mob that was painted by gaming journos and commenters on the internet. I'm not gonna lie, I heard about this a long time ago, and it recently came to my attention again when I was watching a video from the YouTuber Picaspri, and he mentioned the whole ordeal in a video.
For whatever reason, fans were very angry that Sonic had green eyes. And I know it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm not. I distinctly remember that there was an entire week where you could not go on the internet without seeing people complain about Sonic's eyes, or see people complaining about the people complaining about Sonic's eyes.
So why do so many people recall this happening, but there's absolutely no evidence to support it? This is gonna sound crazy, but it's entirely possible the whole controversy was scrubbed from the internet. Fucking astronomically unlikely, but I guess it's possible. The other being much more sinister than that.
We got another one about the Mandella effect.
No, that's all bullshit, but it's even simpler than that. I mentioned earlier that there was an old Destructoid article that kept popping up. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the content from this article. For the most part, it's an opinion piece about why the new generation of Sonic is preferred over the original in the author's opinion. The first couple of paragraphs are riddled with straw man arguments, and the remainder is just fluff talking about other redesigned characters and why they are good or bad based on the author's personal opinions. I almost chalked the whole thing up to just being complete fabrication by Destructoid, and that was until I read the last sentence in, I believe it was the 4th paragraph. I really like Sonic's modern design and prefer it over the classic one. There's nothing wrong with it at all. This made me think, wait, are people just getting the argument of overall design confused with the eye color? After popping in Sonic fans who complain about modern design into Google, I was then met with the forum topic of why do people hate the modern Sonic design so much? Now, despite finding this discussion thread, again, it's not really anything out of the ordinary that you won't see from any other fans discussing what they like or dislike from any series. However, on a technicality, this does exist, so yeah, Sonic fans have at length discussed why they like or dislike the modern rendition of Sonic. The only time I could really find an eye argument, though, was the change of Supersonic's eye color to red in the more modern incarnations. And that's a far cry from the original supposed complaint of his eyes being fucking green. This still leaves us with a question, though, and that's, where the hell did the green eye complaint originate from? For this, we turn back to Destructoid, where I previously mentioned there was another article written on the green eyes. This article was actually released a full year after the original Destructoid green-eyed article had been released. In it, the author discusses Archie Comics' graphic novel that was being released in North America. This comic run was different to that of the early 2000s UK run of Sonic. This graphic novel contains the issues that told the origin of Sonic's eyes changing color from this particular series. From running really fucking fast. Again, even looking at the comments, you find people mocking the situation of being one of those quote-unquote Sonic fans, rather than there being people who are actively having a problem with the eye color change. Then it finally clicked. People weren't actually misremembering anything. The whole green-eyed controversy was just a failed clickbait trend by Destructoid. If we go back to the original green-eyed article, they mentioned the green eyes in the title, but the rest of the piece is just completely fluff. If you know anything about clickbaity articles, especially in the past 5 years, you'll know that it's more important to have a really sexy and catchy title rather than have anything of substance in the body of the work. One thing to keep in mind, around the 2010 era, gaming journalism was just beginning to see its boom. Now, more recently, people have become more aware and perceptive of these clickbaity type of articles. Debatably. However, even today, you'll still see people who will quote article titles as fact without actually reading them, or share articles only after reading the title and again, not actually reading the article itself. It's still a major problem today and was an even bigger problem back during the boom period of internet journalism as a whole. Theoretically, you could actually trace a lot of modern Western society's problems with communication by the bad habits they picked up from about 10 years ago when they would just share these articles rather than actually reading them, thus not being able to separate fact from just some random asshole's opinion. And speaking of my opinion, what I actually think happened with this whole fucking green-eyed apocalypse was right around the time of Sonic 4's release, as well as the announcement of Sonic Generations, Destructoid and possibly other gaming outlets wanted to drum up some controversy in order to get traffic onto their sites, as they heard about some of the minor dissent from the fans in regard to old Sonic's design versus modern Sonic's design. They then decided to use the eyes as a main focal point, and boom, you have yourself a clickbaity article. I distinctly remember reading a Kotaku article from the past in regards to this subject, but at the time of me recording this video, I wasn't able to find it, so as of now, they get a pass.
This time.
From there on, millions of people saw the title of the article, and boom, it practically sells itself. Site engagement got these people paid, if they actually went to the site. See, I don't think anyone really ever looked at the article in its entirety. Like any company or conglomerate, whatever sells, that's what's going to be what they push the most of. So if it had gained a lot of traction, I can fucking guarantee we would have seen dozens and dozens of more articles like that, poking at various aspects of the Sonic fandom or just about those fucking eyes in general. Another smoking gun is the amount of comments on this article. See, on the top right of Destructoid articles, there is a number of comments, and as you can see, no one commented. Instead, I think the articles got passed around via social media and everyone's imagination honestly just kind of did the rest. Sonic fans have always been an easy bunch to pick on, so why the fuck wouldn't they complain about something so trivial? So yeah, I think a lot of people just saw the article, read the title, and passed it on before they even read the damn thing. And all because of a clickbaity article that no one actually read, the memory of this outrage is being confused with the old design Sonic versus the new design Sonic. Which kind of makes me feel bad for a lot of the Sonic fans. Like, there's already tons of cringy content out there that these fans get shit for. If you're gonna criticize them, at least let it be about something that's legit. After defending Godfrey Ho and other bad media things, I should just change my fucking channel to going to bat against stupid. So, that was the green-eyed Sonic apocalypse, a cataclysm that never actually happened, and is most likely remembered because of a Destructoid article that went around that many people probably didn't even read. If there's any lesson to be learned in all this bullshit, it's that if you don't want to look like an asshole, it's always good to read any article you have before you share it or repost it. Make sure to keep things light and rebellious, and I'll see you guys next time.